Hello everyone, welcome back. If you are here, type 3. All right. So, what have you done during the break? I know. So, what have you done during the break? Personally, I poured myself a cup of coffee, but I finished it even before the session has started. I do that with my popcorn as well before, yeah, every movie. Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. All right. Ian Lee, are you here? Oh, right. So we were talking about everything, but I found what we have discussed with Rana. So this was my 2022 paper. And if I can search, like these are the references here. I cited myself here and here. So if you can see, this is about augmented reality in 2021. It was a general review. And this was also an augmented reality with pre-service, with students, teachers, let's say. It was a book chapter. So I used these two as a reference in this current paper because the topics are very similar and I needed to build up upon what I've already published. And yeah, it's very rare you do that, but it is okay to do this. So going back to where we have left off. However, before that, we could do something else. So I believe you can see my screen. Habibe, are you here? This is week 11. Yeah, right. So let me actually, I won't share. Last week we did something like this. Mm, mm, mm. So A will be common knowledge, B will be needs citation, C is opinion. These are the three categories that we will use in choosing the style. So the Earth orbits the Sun. Common knowledge, all right. Using space practice leads to better long-term memory than cramming. Cramming, ineklemek. Hmm. We are in between two minds in here. Needs citation or opinion. So it says leads to better long-term memory. If it says something like that, it should be researched, backed up. So this is a strategy to study, and this is what it leads to, a better long-term memory. So the researchers should have looked into how long-term memory have been affected by the using space practice. So here it needs citation. I think this is a fun activity to do, so it might be in the final exam. Yes, the fun notion is important for me. I find online learning more tiring than face-to-face classes. See, okay. The recent research shows, show, shows that online learning requires more. Invest. Yeah, it's B, right? Because I said recent research shows online learning requires more. So there must be a research that has found out that online learning required more investments, like behavioral or like emotional investment or like physical or time investment from the students than in comparison to the physical one. Turkey has a population of about 85 million. Exactly. Hmm. Actually, like, okay. Uh, for Turkey has a population. So, for Turkey statement, do you say A or B? Hmm. I'm not sure. So, today, it might be 85 million. Isu is trying to guess the answer from my mimics and my reactions. So today it's 85 million. Let's say, let's accept this. But tomorrow it might change. And the paper we write could be read like 5 years from now on. And if you don't have this citation, then the information provided here would be obsolete. Değil mi? Or another immigration influx. Anything could happen. Maybe a war. God forbid, an earthquake. So, and now let's find a citation for this. Normally, before, what I would do is that I would write onto the Google and go to the maybe the first one that shows up. So, ideally speaking, can I use Turkish Statistical Institute's numbers in my paper, in my academic paper? Is it reliable? Ideally speaking. Let's say yes, yes, because it's the government website. Yeah, but ideally speaking, yes. So we have the release date, everything, like real work has been done here, blah blah. Yeah, and then I would cite this one. So to cite this one, I could look around. See, they have every information here. It's reliable. So I'll look at, like, you can even look at the metadata and They have everything. You see? They have even told us how they analyze the data. Again, as Rana has said, looks to be uh, great at first glance. Okay, going back here. So, if you have, yes, we'll come to that. Yes, 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 yes. So, personally, I would go to SiteFast, where I could um, do manual one while waiting for it. Okay, it's here. So I would choose the manual one. Mm, what is this? It's a report, right? It's a report. I entered the website link. No, actually, this is wrong. So let's do it manual. So who is the author to it? Year published 2024. Document title. Um, this one. Publisher. Report now. Do we have report number? Yes, we have the report number here. URL. We know the URL here. Of course, instead of TIG, we should use write Turkish Statistical Institute, like the long version. However, in the end, you will have something like this. Or today, you could basically ask ChatGPT to do it for you. Okay, actually, ChatGPT has given us the same thing, and it gave us from a more recent website, which is not working, but let's accept it is working. So here is the reference. Yeah, actually the same thing. It has the number as well. So, so let's try it with another one. In the meantime, let's move on to the next. It shows that I am really an ADHD. Regular aerobic exercise reduce symptoms of mild depression. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Zav Lin Hiti. So if it said something like, I think exercise reduces depression, then we could have accepted it. But here it says regular, so it shows the density of it, and it gives reduces. Okay, symptoms of mild depression. So it's very specific. If it is something that specific, there must have been a research conducted on it. So personally, I would go with B because it's a claim, right? It's not a common knowledge. Okay, so last one is very easy. Alrighty, let's go back to the ChatGPT. Let's see. Okay, there's a strong peer-reviewed research, time on task, workload. The authors assessed workload in online courses found that most courses exceeded institutional credit hour expectations by 6 to 24 hours per week. That indicates higher than expected student time investment. So actually, if I want to go spare time, um, I rate this one. Yeah, don't disappoint me for once. Okay, like the paper is nearly here. So I read it, I understand it, then I do my citation. Actually, like whatever you think, there must be a study on it. And that's how you cite it in the reference. Of course, this has to be italic. Uh. Okay. Not so bad. All right. Now let's move on to the second part of our unit, which is citations. So reference list, you know it. Reporting verb. It's the verb used to introduce the words or ideas of others. It's reported speech. So they stated, highlighted, said, told, found, etc. So we use the family name. Do you remember this from the midterm exam? Ezgi Kırlak. Writing Kırlak 2020 was enough. But in fact, I've seen in citations like this. So the first one is correct. So surname and year of publication plus the page number if you word for word quoting. So by the way, my cam, can you see it? Seems that it's glitching. Okay, I'm using an external webcam and suddenly my internal one has started to work, which wasn't working for years. And there must be some connectivity issue. Jesus Christ. So Habibe, are you here? Okay. And if you want to focus on the idea, you can give the citation in the end. So this looks italic, but do not accept it. Like, do not mm, think that, think it like that, because it's gotta be like in the normal written way. When evidence is used in academic papers, students are reminded to inform the reader of where the information was initially located. Yeah. So, and I will choose somebody here. Onur Faydalı, are you here? Okay. So, Onur, if I add this here and this here, these two quotation marks, What do I need to do to the sentence or to the citation? What is the next step to complete this process? Let's imagine I have put this and this here, and I directly cited this part. What do I need to do in here? Okay, I think okay, okay, no worries. So, anybody else who would like to add the page number and a comma, right? Then page P dot, yeah, space. Okay, give me a page number. The first one here. Okay, 4. Page number 4. All right. So it will look something like this. But of course, I need to delete that for the upcoming courses. All right. So first, you could focus on the idea. What really matters for you in this style is this part. However, if you want to focus on the source, for example, Kırlak, if Kırlak is very important in the field and you want to focus on Kırlak, here you could say Kırlak or Smith in 2014 recommended the use of reliable sources in academic papers. Of course, even though I said the focus is on the source in this one and the focus is on the idea in this one, if you go like the like like you, all your sentences could go on focus on the idea, even if your focus is not on the source for the upcoming sentence, you can change your way to use different styles because otherwise it would be very like, robotic repetition, which you wouldn't want. So personally, I go like this, and then if I go too much like this, I turn to this style a bit, and then go back to the other one. As long as your text flows, as long as it reads well, you should be okay. So, and we are coming to the question that Raina has asked, formatting citations. So the rest of this unit will cover for each format, you'll notice examples provided as both in-text and end-of-text citations. So, actually, um, Raina's will be coming in about 2 subsections. So if you are citing 2 or 3 authors from the same source, so these 2 or 3 authors have conducted the study together, published it together. So you could go like Parker and Lewis in 2018. There is no ampersand here because it's not in the parentheses. If it were in the parentheses, then you would have the ampersand. So, blah blah, their contribution is recognized internationally. Parker, Lewis, and Chen. So, this was for APA 6. But today we have APA 7. And one of the changes is that if before, when you had 3 authors, you would write the surnames of the 3 authors per 3 author, no, the 3 authors, not the first, but the whole 3 authors. Then you could have given the date of course, for the APA wise, it should be like this. However, today, when you have three or more, you go like et al. Today, if you have more than three, if you have three or more than three authors for a resource, you go like Parker et al. It means and others. And in Turkish, we go like Parker ve diğerleri, if I'm not mistaken, because I haven't written in Turkish when it comes to it. So this one's for Turkish, so we don't use that. We don't need to learn that for the purposes of this course. So citing three or more authors, you go like Wells, same thing, Wells et al. Or Wells et al. As in here. Okay, coming to the right now's question. Citing multiple sources. The name of each source will follow the same format as above. List the sources in chronological order, oldest to newest, with sources published in the same year, provided alphabetically by the author. So, in in-text citations like this, actually, like you can write in any order when it comes to the sentences in narrative mode like this. Daniels in 2010, Williams et al. In 2010, and Garner in 2013. Yeah, this should be from oldest to newest. Okay. No alphabetical order is considered here. And then the another type is this. Blah blah eventually losing money. Daniels, Williams, and Garner. So when it comes to the citations in the parenthetical citation like this, you look for the alphabetical order. For that reason, this will be in the end. D comes before G and G comes before W. And you'll go like this. And this is not very much known, but you have to go alphabetical here. Okay. If you have the same surname, for example, if Kırlak has two studies in the same year, you go like 2001A, 2001B. Or if she has three studies, you go A, B, and C. And this is how you cite it. And this won't be in the exam. Because this is too much detail. Okay. This is not, this will not be in the exam as well. Secondary sources. So if you cannot reach the primary source, but if you have read the idea in a secondary source, for example, if you can find this source and if you read the idea in this source, but you cannot you cannot access to the first one, then you go like Evans 2003 started in Cook 2016. It means that you have read Cook's study in 2016. But of course, this is a bit too much detail for you as well, so not in the final exam. Okay. So if you have direct quotations, you add the page number. And be careful with the spaces. There's a space here, and there's a space after this one is that. Like after every punctuation, you have a space, except for the closing parentheses here. Okay, citing sources with no author. If it is a institution or government, you go like this, this. But of course, this one not in the final because it's too much. Do not use phrases like unknown, anonymous, no date, no final. So this won't be in the final. Okay, for the Chinese names, we use the Romanized version of their name. Of course, when we are looking for the paper, we will see this version for ourselves already. So, different nationalities have different types of surnames. Some of them might have surnames like more than one surname. They are given together, etc. However, to know this, like we don't have to know this. We basically, so when we go to any paper, let's search for this. So, for example, we go there, so we'll see the surnames cited in other studies. So it starts with B, C, H, L, W. I think it goes okay. But the problem here is first author, second author, third author, but no et al. What is the reason for this? I'm checking the publication dates, which was published in 2010. As I've said, on like until few years ago, we had APA 6 where you could write three surnames, three authors. But in the last 2 or 3 years, we own like if it is more than two, if it is three or more, we use ethyl. So, although citations do not include many details, their purpose is significant. They are essential for avoiding plagiarism, but of course, it's not a guarantee. Furthermore, citations help differentiate farklılaştırmak, which sections are your ideas and which are not your ideas, and which are the ideas of others. And the final advice is include your citations in your essay while writing. Of course, yeah. Because if you think that you could do it after you're all done, you can find the source is already there, etc. You mix things up and you cannot find your actual source and you lose it. So do it while you're writing. Do not wait until you have finished the paper. Go back and add your citations because you may forget to include one or two. So this will result in accusations of plagiarism while you were not deserving it. So thank you all. It's been exactly 50 minutes now. So if you have anything to say, any questions, I'm here. So Rana says, oh, good one. We are coming to the reference lists in the next session. But the answer is no. In the reference list, every study is equal. You give all the details. So I am here if you like Let's have 10 minutes or 12 and a half or 15. What do you say? So right now, if you go here, you will not see any etyle. You see, it's all equal references. Surname, 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 date, and the name of the article, the name of the journal, the issue. That should have been italic, by the way, and the volume number and the page numbers. Okay, let's do it 15. Hope to see you back on 15. Have your breakfast, a quick breakfast if you can. Bye bye for now. 15 seconds have been set. Bye bye.